How's everyone doing? This video is about learning to forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself at some point is something that you will have to do in order to move forward. A lot of young black women haven't forgiven themselves. They're actually allowing whatever they did in the past to hold them down. And on top of that, because they haven't forgiven themselves, we are so willing to allow this to happen in our communities by us offering support. Supporting someone, offering support to them is basically saying you support their actions. And I'm going to tell you that this is going to affect you in the long run. You thinking, well, I'm giving her a little support, to be there to support her. But what you're doing is actually supporting her actions. She's going to support her child's actions. You're going to actually support your child when they do it. And instead of you forgiving yourself and being able to stand up to your child and say, look, this is what I've done in the past. It wasn't a good thing that I've done, or it wasn't good in certain ways, right? You would say, well, it wasn't good because we have it hard, and if I had to do it again, I would do it differently, and I don't want you to follow down these footsteps because I want you to have a better life than the one that I had. That's how we should be as parents. You should want your children to do better than you. In order for that to happen, though, you have to recognize your mistakes, be able to face them. You don't have to actually tell them to other people, but you need to face whatever it is that you think you've done and forgive yourself for it. So how do I know that we haven't forgiven ourselves for some of our mistakes? Because you all have been telling me in the comment sections of some of the videos I've made. You all have been telling me the reason why you are supportive of a woman who admittedly have had abortions as a form of birth control. You admitted that you support her because of something you understand. You have been supportive of a woman who admittedly has slept with married man after married man just because she wanted to. You've been supportive of that. Why? Because you feel like you understand her. You're supportive of a woman right now who is actively hurting herself. If you at the ground, down deep in the dirt, why would you bring a child into the world? You're only hurting yourself. You're not bettering yourself. But you all are supportive of a woman who has nothing, but she's bringing a child into having nothing. And you don't see a problem with that. You don't really see a problem with that? Now, there's nothing we could do about whatever the past is, right? But let's be honest with ourselves right now. How prosperous you think this is going to work out for her and this child? We all know what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. She's going to go to the state for help, which she's already done. She's going to get assistance from the time that child is born up until that child is too old to get assistance. By then, she'll be on something like Social Security or something. Right? She's not the spring chicken that she thinks she is. Mentally, this girl is 17 years old. Now, let me tell you how this conversation is not really about her. It's about you and about me. It's about you and I. Okay? Why? Because I'm talking about you and your support. Let's forget about her, period. We don't even have to bring up her name. Let's talk about you being supportive of this type of actions going on in our community. And then what you told me in my comments section was that you relate to her because maybe you had a child at a young age, right? I get that. But I need you to understand that you were young when you was in that situation. You need to forgive yourself. Most people don't even know anymore. You're in your late 20s or 30s somewhere. You've had a child when you were 16, 17, 18. Okay, if you had your child, you raised your child, you did the best you can. Forgive yourself for having a baby at a young age. You need to forgive yourself. Because you should not be relating yourself to a 37-year-old who put herself in a position you put yourself in as a child. There's a big difference. We cannot continue to support these actions. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that we go out and actually beat up on people. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying go out there and browbeat them and talk about them to death until they feel shame. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying, what I am saying is you don't stand up and support them and make them think that they should be proud of the bullshit. Because they shouldn't be proud. When they do some shit to be proud about, then they should be proud about that. Like for example, she have that child, and if she's taking care of that child and being a good mother, then yes, she could be proud of being a good mother. That's what I'm telling you all, that if you had a child at a young age and you decided to be the mother and you took care of your child the best that you could, then you should be proud. Let go of the things that you feel shameful about. Forgive yourself. Because if you don't, you are helping to ruin our communities. I know you don't see the relationship and what I'm talking about, but I need you all to open your eyes and see it. Prime example. If you can forgive yourself, you're able to walk up to your children and say, look, I had you at a young age. I did the best I could. I love you. I'm glad you're here. But I don't want you to follow in my footsteps. I want you to do better. And you give them all the information that they need in order to do better. You talk to them from a young age, actually, and tell them, look, I want better for you. I want better for you. I'm your mother. I love you. I want better for you. So when they become a certain age, they do not follow in your footsteps. Do you not see that we have generational of young mothers? Your mother was a young mother. You ended up being a young mother. Your children are going to be young mothers. That can be stopped. But it's all about forgiving ourselves. Your mother probably was too ashamed at some point or to admit what she's done, right? I get that. I can imagine some of you probably thinking, well, I don't want to tell my kid they were a mistake. I don't want them to feel that. But you don't have to do that at all. You don't let them know that they're a mistake. You let them know that they entered your life at a time where things was hard, but you loved them so much, you decided to keep them, and you did the best you could because you love them. And you don't want them to go through the hardships because you love them so much. See, that's how you spin that. But if you don't even forgive yourself, you're not even able to have that type of conversation with your child. A deep-rooted conversation where you sit down and you actually open up and tell them, listen, I love you. I love you with all of my heart. I wouldn't make any changes because who you are and how much I love you. But I don't want you to have it as hard as I've had it. I want you to do better. I want you to go to college, educate yourself. before you even start parenting, because parenting is hard and difficult. But if you don't forgive yourself, you can't even have that conversation. You might, in the back of your mind, you know, tell your kid, I don't want to be a grandmother early. Ah, you gonna make me a grandmother early. You know, throwing those nasty comments out there. You are actually teaching your kids that it's okay to be, for you to be a grandparent early, because they feel like you never had that discussion with them, kind of letting them know how difficult things could be. We have a lot of people out here who do not have their fathers because no one sat down with these young men and explained to them that once you have a kid, that your life changes, because it's supposed to change, because you're supposed to become a father. So we have a lot of young men throwing their seed here and there and there and here. They don't give a shit about them kids. Why? Nobody ever explained it to them. My children understands. Let me tell you what I taught them. I explained to them, listen, you have a child, your entire life gonna change, because you're gonna have to be there. They know they're supposed to be there because their fathers is here through all the crap, whether things were great or things weren't so great. Their father was right there. Their father wasn't going out to any clubs. Their father at some points had 2 jobs, 3 jobs, right? So they see this, and I've always spoken to them. Do you want to have fun with your friends? Do you want to go on vacation and do this and do that with your friends? Do you want to go to college? Like, I've always mixed in fun. You get your education, but have fun as well. Have fun. Live your life. Because as soon as you become a parent, you're going to become a parent. In my household, they know this. A woman knock on my door and tell me that they are carrying one of my grandkids. Oh, they know their mom is excited to have some grandkids. My kids know a woman knock at the door, she gonna be led in this house. They know, okay, even though it's like an inside joke thing, and some of you not even gonna understand it. They know that they might be a shotgun wedding. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they know that they gonna be held responsible, and they know that they should be responsible for any children they put out in the world. But I taught them this. This doesn't just come to our kids. So we have a lot of young boys out there who have children, they don't care. They're not going to really care until they actually become in their 30s and 40s, when they realize what they've done. And it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault. I don't blame all of you for the things that you've done. I blame your parents. But if you are a parent today and you're listening to this, then you have no excuse from this point on. Men, if you are out here and you don't have any children at this point, then you need to protect yourself. I'll give you some videos on how you can help protect yourself. But I need you all to take responsibility for our communities. If you don't know, then it's not your fault. Once you become knowledgeable about these things, everything from that point on is your fault. Okay? Anyway, I am very passionate about this. People want to know, well, why do you care? Why do you care? Just take care of your family. You don't understand that we are in this together? Whomever my children have to deal with when they decide to when they become older, there's a society out there. There's a community out there. You don't live in a box by yourself. You have to think about others, especially if you love your children. If you go down, they go down. If you go down, we all go down. Anyway, 15 minutes almost here. I gotta go. Bye.